Good morning. My name is Patricia Hill Collins, and welcome to Reading for Change 2020 at Casa Poéticas Negras. I have prepared some remarks for you that I'd like to read. Once you know how to read and write for yourself, the world opens up to you. Once you claim the power of literacy, you can change the world for others. When I was 5 years old, my mother took me to our local branch of the public library. My neighborhood was not fancy, but with her words, my mother made that small building magical for me. She told me that I was ready to enter a special place and that I had the key to unlock its mysteries. There were two parts to that key. One was knowing how to read, and I had that. Reading was fun. You looked at the words and pictures and figured out what they meant. Now the other part was knowing how to write my own words. For me, writing was an entirely different story. I struggled to write my own name. It had so many letters. Patricia, Patricia, and then Hill, Hill, 12 letters in all. So much for a small child to remember and write. So I was very proud when we walked into that library and I slowly and painstakingly signed the application form. My mother and the librarian patiently waited for me to finish, and I did. The librarian gave me my library card, and I used my card to check out a book under my own name. Now that day, my mother gave me a gift that would take me far. With reading what I wanted, writing my own ideas, and access to books as a window to the ideas of others, I traveled outside my own non-fancy neighborhood. With these tools of reading, writing, and books, I could imagine new worlds and dream big dreams. When my mother took me to the public library, she taught me that literacy was the key to my future. Books could be my window on the world, and that change was possible. When I entered public school, I still loved to read, but most likely, like many of you, I did not love reading what I was assigned to read. Because the curriculum of the Philadelphia public schools had little to do with me, I was often bored. My mother, my father, the many flavors of Black people in my neighborhood were missing from the books that I was assigned to read during 12 years of public school education. But I read those assigned books anyhow. To this day, I read everything because I still want to know what people are saying about me, even if they are not talking to me or for me. I believe that practice makes you better at whatever you are trying to do. And my public school education gave me plenty of practice at reading, writing, and criticizing, at least in my own mind, what I was expected to learn. I always supplemented my public school curriculum with library books that I checked out on my library card. Now that's how I got through high school and college, doing my best to navigate the formal curriculum, but always casting a critical eye on what I was assigned to read. But as I got older, I realized that there was something wrong, not only with my college curriculum, but also with my own public library. Where were the books written by and about Black people? Where were the books written by and about Black women? Where were the books about my mother that told the truth of her life as a Black woman? When I went looking, I found the words of so many Black people who had come before me, who had written books, but whose voices had been silenced. And the more I read Black literature, the more I could see that we needed more books by and about Black women. We needed more books to give to you. My mother set me on a path of writing, of knowing how important it is to speak for myself, to own my own words, and to record my own ideas. But I, like you, had to do the work to forge my own path and stay on it, trying to write books that my mother should have been able to read. Now, my first book, Black Feminist Thought, is exactly that kind of book. Sadly, my mother died when I was 22. She never got to read Black Feminist Thought or see how her ideas and experiences influenced the path that I took. She never got to know that the first book, my first book, Black Feminist Thought, would be translated into Portuguese, Pensamento Feminista Negro, and that I would be able to visit Brazil in 2019 to meet and hug the readers of this book. But I carry her spirit with me. And that brings me to today and to you. I write as a gift to you and to all those like you who follow me. I want to encourage you both to read books and, if you are so inclined, to write books of your own. I may not be able to read them, but I remind you that you never know how your ideas will touch the lives of others if you do not let your ideas fly. So say something, sing something, dance something, and perhaps write poetry or song lyrics or blogs or even books that one day send your voice to places and people that you cannot yet imagine. Once you know how to read and write for yourself, the world opens up to you. Once you claim the power of literacy, you can change the world for others. Obrigada.